Hey, what's up everyone? How's everyone feeling today? This is Mark Perry back at you with another video. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about master lease option. I've been getting a lot of questions about master lease option, so I kind of want to break it down a little bit on this video. So keep in mind, when you do a master lease option with the seller, the deed does not get transferred over to you. You'll just have control of the property. Keep that in mind. So you won't have the deed. So basically you won't have the tax benefits of the property. You'll just basically be controlling the property. So the deed won't go to you. It'll just be more of a control. It's kind of like a rent to own. When you're in a property, a house, and you want to do a rent to own on it, you don't get the deed, but you could do whatever you want to do to the property because you have an option to buy it. It's lease option, master lease option, rent to own. It's all the same thing. So the concepts out there is, let's do a rent to own, a lease option, a master lease option. A master lease option is basically for commercial real estate. Lease options is basically for residential. That's the terms of it. So it's just more of an option to buy it. You having an option to buy it. That's the reason why there's a down payment and there's monthly rents, monthly cash flow, and then on the back end you have the option to buy it. And keep in mind that when you give the down payment to the seller, that money is non-refundable. So you would not be able to receive that money. So if you default or anything on the property or something happens, you would not be able to get that money back that you put down as a down payment. So keep that in mind as well. The second thing is that insurance-wise. So the insurance still will be in place on the property. So there will be insurance on the property, but you will still have to get your own insurance. Now keep that in mind. The insurance will be on the property still, but you still will have to get insurance on the property. So it'll kind of be like a rent to own insurance. So if you have a property that you're renting out, or if it's a rent to own, it's the same concept. You have to get, renter insurance. So it's the same thing. So you have to have your own insurance. And the insurance will still stay in place with the seller as well. So that's another thing. And whenever you structure these deals, keep in mind anything that you have set in stone with the seller. So let's say the terms. So let's say, just for hypothetical numbers, $100,000 purchase price, $5,000 down, $1,000 a month, and the option to buy within 5 years. Those numbers are set in stone once you and the seller have agreed to it. So those are all set in stone. So keep in mind that when you have that number set in stone, if you have a property that has value to it, all that extra on top will be all yours. The seller doesn't get anything else because you're not doing a seller financing. If you was doing seller financing, then the seller would get that because there's an interest rate involved. But since there's no interest rate involved, it'd just be a flat term condition, then all the upside is yours. So keep in mind, the goal is when you do these lease options, and this works on mobile home parks, this works on multifamily apartment buildings, this works on residential houses, this works on literally anything in real estate. You could do a master lease option on anything. So it's not like you could do it on this and you can't do it on that. You could do it on any real estate that's out there, commercial real estate or whatever. And you want to make sure that when the terms are set in stone, your whole goal is to buy this property within 3 years or 4 years to refinance it. And that's another thing I get from individuals. They say, Mark, well, can I refinance a master lease option? Yes, you can. And if you don't believe me, just get on YouTube and you can type it in. There's plenty of individuals out there that have lease option terms, and they was able to refinance it. You could refinance the lease option terms because all the bank really wants to see is that, okay, do you have experience in managing apartment building? And you will have experience in it because you will be managing the operations as you have a lease option on it. You control it. So you'll be able to refinance it. That's no problem. You just want to make sure the whole goal with the situation is you want to make sure that if you're doing a master lease option with a seller, you want to be able to get in, make sure there's value add to the property, make sure there's value add, you can increase rents, put money into some of the units, and you want to be able to refinance that property as soon as possible. It's just really, a master lease option is basically just something to where you can get into this deal and you have to go to the bank and get qualified. You don't have to put a large payment down, a down payment. You don't have to do a lot of these things. You don't have to have liquidity. These are required from if you're going to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac to get loans for apartment buildings. So this is just one way that you actually can get into this property and you don't have to go to all this finance and stuff. And this is a good way to get you into the property where you build credibility as well. So I hope that helps. And also as well, make sure that when you're doing a master lease option, make sure that the cash flow is there. You know, you don't want to get in a hiccup to where the cash flow is not there. You want to make sure that the cash flow is there. You want to make sure, especially if you're going to borrow the money, the down payment money from another investor, you want to make sure that that bottom dollar, because your debt service will be you're paying the seller every single month or every quarter, however you structure it. And then if you're borrowing the money from some other individual, if you're getting them a 10% or 12% return, you want to make sure that you can pay them. And then whatever's left over, if that money is negative after you pay them, it's not a good deal. Or you need to negotiate on the pricing. If it's positive, then go for it. And you can do this on any one. You just got to make sure that you have positive cash flow after you pay the seller and then after you pay the investor as well, if you're going to raise money. Now, if it's your money, it's totally different. Your returns will be a little bit better. But if you got to bring another equity partner involved or someone involved that sees this vision, then you definitely want to make sure that the cash flow is there. So that's all I got right now. I would say just go out there and go take the action. Make sure that if you don't have a master lease option agreement, I do have some. But, you definitely want to make sure if you don't have none, you want to maybe get your attorney involved to make sure that they can write a master lease option agreement up. Somebody that understands master lease options. Make sure that they can write it up for you to where you can get this deal done. It's funny because right now I'm actually working on an 84 unit that's in Arkansas that we're looking to do a master lease option on with 10% down. He wants 1.7 million for it. He wants 10% down. And I think that we can get this deal done. I believe we can. So just continue to go out there and go take the action for it. You're not going to have all the answers going in, but these are just some good nuggets that I want to share with you guys about the master lease option, because it's not that bad. It's just something to where you could get yourself into the deal to where you can have little or to no money out your pocket. And when I mean no money out your pocket, let's just say, for instance, with this deal that I'm working on, 10% down will be roughly $170,000, $175,000. That doesn't have to be my money. I can bring an investor involved that understands the vision, that I can show them the opportunity, and then I can bring them in with $175,000 and give them like a 10 to a 12% return on their money. Give them a 10% or 12% return on the money, and then boom, I got into that property with no money. I just structured the deal in a way to where it's cash flowing already once we close. And then there's also upside to where we can refinance it. So the rents are below market. We could go in and put a couple $1,000s in each unit, and we can get those rents up to market rents, and then we can refinance it within 3 to 4 years. So that's the way that you can do it. That's the way that I did it. And I did that on small multifamily and also residential as well. Residential is a little bit more easier because you're not dealing with a savvy investor. You're dealing more of a homeowner. So they're okay with doing a lease option. And then you could turn around and either assign that lease option over, or you could do a sound lease option and stay in the middle and find a qualified buyer that's been working a job and that's willing to give you the down payment money. So I hope that this video helps. I hope that I answered everyone's question about the master lease option on apartment buildings or any other commercial real estate, because you could do this with any commercial real estate. You just got to know your numbers and you got to know what you're looking for. And if the number makes sense and if the cash flows make sense, go for it. Do your due diligence, do your homework, and go for it, because you're jumping into this deal with little or to no money. So there's really not a lot of risk besides the little money that you put in. But just make sure that the cash flow is positive and make sure there's some upside to the property, and then you'll be good as gold. So that's all I got for today. Also as well, I always mention, if you like this channel, if you can relate to this channel, please hit that notification button. Please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. Everyone that subscribed to my channel, thank you. And may you all have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks.